Akari.
Hey! What the heck?
Akari.
Oh, the title call. This video is...
Don't forget to subscribe!
Welcome back to our review series on the Halloween specials. I am Ari.
And this is Knuckles.
In this episode, we'll be reviewing Sonic X, Episode 19, Sonic Scream Test. Let's
get this party started!
Spoiler alert!
The episode begins showing a castle in the middle of a lake. The camera explores different rooms of the castle, and faint laughter can be heard. The laughing is suddenly interrupted by Sonic yawning and relaxing on the balcony. The movie director tells Lindsay that he would like to do the takeover again. Ella appears beside Chris, Amy, and Tails all dressed up as a maid for a part in the movie. Lindsay does the retake and meets up with Chris, Amy, and Tails. She asks if his friends are there, not knowing that Amy and Tails were the ones she was mentioning. Tails explains that they were right there, and Lindsay mistakes Tails as a person dressed up to look like a fox. Tails sometimes asks if Chris told her if they really were animals, but Chris responds that his mother is clueless at times. Chris asks for cream and cheeses, and the director says rewind that. On the camera of the screen shows two little heads poking over a bush, which was none other than cream and cheese. The cameraman says that they can just digitally edit them out. The director agrees and tells them to go to the next beat. Chris lets out a sigh of relief as he realizes that they have barely dodged a bullet. Meanwhile, Sonic is exploring the interior of the game. The filming crew are then ready to shoot the next scene. It goes into the camera's point of view as it follows Lindsay, who is running down the courtyard sidewalk. The camera hits something, which turns out to be a small statue of a talisman on a pedestal. The cameraman decides to move it out of the way, but as he touches it, something starts to happen in the area of the castle where Sonic is. The cameraman then changes his mind. He then moves the camera behind the talisman. Everything turns back to normal with Sonic, though he does show concern as the scene gets shot again. The talisman is still in the way, this time getting right in the middle of the shot. The cameraman picks up the talisman and pushes it to the ground. Once again, something strange happens to Sonic, but when he looks around the room, he sees nothing. That night, the crew does a scene in a dark corridor, as Lindsay passes a wall covered in strange symbols. The soundman says he hears a noise. Meanwhile, Sonic looks out over the courtyard from an upstairs window. The soundman says that he can't find anything wrong on his end, and says that they should shoot the scene again. They do, but the noise appears once again. The director decides to call it a day. In Lindsay's room, Lindsay is powdering her face when Chris arrives to say goodnight. Lindsay in turn gives him a big hug and tells him to have sweet dreams, and then Chris leaves. Meanwhile, the soundman walks down the corridor with a sound detecting device, looking for noise. Chris arrives in his room, but only finds Tails, who is on a bed reading. When he asks Chris, who is the only other person here, where everyone is, he replies that the girls and she's our husband for a sleepover. Chris then asks about Sonic, and Tails says he's probably still exploring the castle on the grounds. And Chris hopes Sonic doesn't get into any trouble, but as always with Sonic, trouble is not far behind. Outside in the courtyard, Sonic is walking around and he sees the pedestal that the talisman statue had been on. He goes up to it and then looks down and sees the talisman that the cameraman had put on the ground earlier that day. So, he picks it up and examines it, but with the soundman, he is still walking around the corridor when he finally finds the area where the noise was coming from. It was coming from the wall with strange symbols on it, and as he listens, the sound becomes clearer. Laughter. Behind him, a few ghosts appear, but disappear when he looks behind them. Lindsay, in her room, hears the laughter and calls Chris's name, thinking it was him. When it continues, she gets angry and stands up to face the door, floor, saying that the little joke has gone too far enough. The laughing stops, so she sits back down, and she sees her reflection in the mirror. But it's not her reflection. It has her hair, skirt, shirt, and necklace. But instead of her normal face, the face is pure white with large, circular red and yellow eyes with black pupils. Its mouth is open with a large grin showing large, sharp black teeth, and a deep voice that greets her. And that was at this moment that Lindsay knew. She completely screamed. Outside, Sonic looks at the talisman, and the one end of the talisman has a crescent mark on it, and the other hand has the sun mark on it. Back inside the castle, the crew was on a frantic search for Lindsay. Chris and Tails search outside, while Amy, Cream, Cheese, and Ella search the inside. The four of them go down the hall with the strange symbols on them. When Cheese hears something, suddenly the laughter from the floor starts. Ella finds the area where the laughter is coming from and knocks on the wall, asking if Lindsay was there. Amy goes to get some help, but is stopped suddenly by a ghost arm coming out of the wall. Because of it, more ghostly arms surround them, and the four of them scream in terror. Sonic then hears them scream and goes off to find them, still holding the talisman. Chris and Tails reach them, but find that Cream and Cheese are missing. Amy hangs onto Ella's hand, which is halfway out of the strange symbolic wall. The ghost arms disappear into the wall, and the three of them try to pull out on Ella's arm, trying to free her, but it is no use. Ella's arm is sucked into the wall. Sonic then appears and asks what had happened. Amy explains that they had been looking for Chris's mother when ghosts attacked them. Sonic says that he does not believe in ghosts, but then some of the ghosts' heads poke out of the wall. Sonic kicks the wall hard, breaking it and revealing a large purple-pink wall. Ghost arms reach out of the wall and grab at them. Chris, Tails, and Amy run, and Sonic tries to attack the hands, but they are intangible, so his kicks are probably useless. Look on Sonic's face. Suddenly, Tails is grabbed by the ghost and pulled into the wall. Sonic yells at the ghosts to bring him back, but then they go after him next. He jumps in the air to dodge, but the hands grab him as well, and they pull him towards the wall, and then Sonic throws the talisman to Chris. The pieces of the outer wall start to piece themselves back together. Sonic explains that the talisman fell off a pedestal outside and that it may have something to do with what was happening. The wall then seals him off, completing the outer wall. Amy then angrily strikes the wall repeatedly with their Pico Pico hammer, yelling at the ghosts to give Sonic back, but her attempts to break the wall are futile and she starts sobbing. The next morning, Amy and Chris find the pedestals Sonic told them about before he disappeared. Chris sees a script written on top of the pedestal that says appears under the moon, disappears under the sun. He then hears wind and he feels a draft coming from underneath the pedestal, and that there be a hidden passageway underneath it. Amy takes out her hammer and hits the left side of the pedestal, making it move to the side and revealing the stairs going down. Amy decides to go down and rescue Sonic, but Chris stops her, saying it could be dangerous. Amy says she knows and continues to go down the stairs. Chris follows her, and they go down the stairs. Amy says that she thought Chris was scared. He admits that he is scared and asks Amy if she is. She says, no. But then a drop of water from the ceiling drips onto her shoulder, causing her to freak out. The camera switches to where Sonic and the others who went missing laying on the ground unconscious. And behind them, there are two small ghosts and King Boom Boo. Amy and Chris reach the bottom of the stairs. Amy tells Chris that the ghosts love it when they see people that are scared, and to stay calm if they run into one. Chris says that he will pretend like he doesn't notice them when the laughing starts again. They look around and see some ghosts flying towards them. They fly circles around them, and Amy grabs the talisman and holds it up into the air. The ghosts freeze and start flying away in a panic from where they came. After they are gone, Chris realizes that they must be afraid of it. Amy, feeling much braver, goes after the ghost, with Chris running to catch up to her. They come to another room and see the ghost go down some more stairs and through a door. With the missing, Sonic regains consciousness and sees King Boom Boo standing there. Amy and Chris go through the door the ghost went through. But for their safety, they hold the statue in case there are any ghosts around. The room is empty and dark, except for a little light coming in from a small window. Amy quietly starts calling Sonic's name, and Sonic calls Amy and Chris's name. They look up and see Sonic on the ceiling with Ella, Lindsay, and Tails visible behind them. Sonic tells them that there isn't much time and they must have to listen to them. King Boom Boo speaks in Sonic's voice and says that he's always loved Amy and to put the talisman on the window. Amy goes to put it on the window when the real Sonic yells her not to put the talisman on the window. For that is how the ghosts get their power. Amy reaches the window, and the deep voice Sonic tells her to put it on with the moon facing up. And Chris says that it's not a good idea. But Amy says that Sonic knows what he's doing. And Amy puts the talisman on the window, and Sonic at his normal voice yells at her not to do it. However, it was already too late. The crescent moon on the talisman glows, and in a flash of light, King Boom Boo appears with some of his ghosts. It is then revealed that it was he who pretended to be Sonic, and he tricked Amy into getting the talisman on the window. They laugh, and Amy attacks the ghosts. They disappear, making Amy go off balance. Then King Boom Boo suddenly grabs her, making her drop the hammer. Amy struggles and a boom enters her body, making her pass out. King Boom Boo puts her on the ground, and Chris runs up to her. Amy suddenly wakes up, her eyes now black, red, and yellow, in her mouth in a large ring with black sharp teeth. She gets up like a rag doll and levitates in the air as she is now possessed. She says that they should stop interfering with their plans or they'll never leave this castle. Amy then starts to chase Chris with her Pico Pico hammer. Chris yells for Sonic to help him, but the only way to get Sonic out of his prison. As Amy corners Chris, she gets ready to deliver the final blow when she stops, as if in fear. Behind him is the talisman, and he finally understands what the message on the pistol meant. He picks up the talisman and flips it over to the sun side facing up and puts it back on the windowsill. Sunlight light comes from the tiles in the ceiling, and Sonic is free. He rushes over to an unconscious Amy, falling into his arms, and the boom leaves her body, turning her body back to normal. Amy regains consciousness and hugs Sonic happily, and the smaller ghosts attack them. Sonic attacks back, defeating some of the ghosts. Then, he charges at King Boom Boo. Some ghosts get ready to attack Amy, but she hits them into a wall instead. 3 more corner her and fuse together into a larger boom. Amy gets in a fighting stance and hits the ghost, causing it to crash into the wall. Meanwhile, Chris wakes his mother up, who has also been freed, as well as Ella, Tails, Cream, and Cheeks. She gets up and asks how she was in that take, not realizing the events that have occurred. Sonic tells Chris to get out while he deals with the ghosts. Tails throws Sonic a ring, giving Sonic the power to use a spin attack on King Boom Boo. And Chris grabs the talisman, and he and the others leave as Sonic slams into King Boom Boo, slamming him into the wall. He then leaves to go catch up to his friends. When he does, he finds out that they may not have made it halfway up the stairs. Suddenly, King Boom Boo bursts out of the wall and starts speeding up the staircase, refusing to let them escape. Sonic picks Lindsay up and starts running up the stairs toward the exit. They all get outside and Amy hits the pedestal back into place. Chris puts the talisman back on the pedestal, but instead of the sun side, he accidentally put it on the moon side, though Sonic does not mind. Lindsay explains that it was kind of fun, but she did not know that it was a fantasy film that they were filming. Then the director, cameraman, and the police officer run up to them. When the director says that she had him worried, Lindsay asks why. The police explains that nobody has ever escaped from the ghosts before. Chris then asks about the ghosts to the police officer, who explains a rumor that the place they are at sits in an ancient burial ground, as if the original owner built the castle here. When he heard about the legend of the ghosts living here, he laughed and said that they were such nonsense. The man disappeared after the first night and stayed there, never to be seen again. The final thing the viewers see is 2 ghosts in one of the upper story windows laughing.
Did you know
The moon side of the talisman had a star with a crescent, which was removed in the English dub since it would cause outrage from the Islam/Muslim community. Lindsay's ghostly reflection in the mirror originally said Chris in his squeaky, childlike voice. And just before Amy and Chris go back into the castle to rescue their friends, an 18-second scene of the police arriving and talking with the movie crew was cut from the dub. After Amy screamed when a water droplet fell to her head, there was originally a 7-second scene where Amy was telling Chris that she would like to have her own apartment someday. This was removed from the dub. After King Boom Boo is freed, he said, "Thank you, Amy," in the English version. The dub cuts out a shot where Sonic karate chops Amy in the neck to get the boom out of her body. Originally, at the end of the episode, the police told Sonic and his friends that he was told of the ghost in the castle by his grandfather. In the film Lindsay is shooting, she is playing opposite a character named Rhett. This may have been a reference to Rhett Butler, the leading man in the novel and movie Gone with the Wind. The movie clip that Cream and Cheese accidentally showed up in is played twice. Once in the normal flow of events, and again when the director asks to rewind the clip. The first time it is played, Cream and Cheese does not appear, although the space where they are supposed to be is clearly shown. Instead, there are several trees in the background. The second time, Cream and Cheese appear behind the bushes, and in the background is a blue sky. Also, Lindsay has visible tears the first time the clip is played, but not the second. The episode brings back the hourglass named the talisman that appeared in Sonic Adventure 2, which is also played at a pivotal point in the fight against Boom Boo. And this is the third episode that Dr. Eggman does not appear in.
Now you know!
Overall, this episode actually brings back a flavor of taste of Sonic Adventure 2 in the boss battle stage that Knuckles had to face off against King Boom Boo himself. Is there anything you would like to say, Knuckles?
The battle was rude, but it was worth it.
This episode's rating is an 8 out of 10.
Thank you for watching. What do you think? If you appreciate the content, please be sure to super smash that like button and be sure to subscribe to our channel. And please be sure to follow us on Instagram or my DeviantArt. And don't forget to leave a comment because we really accept kind thoughts. But we here do not allow any trolls or hurtful words or any other terrible meanings necessary allowed. Otherwise, Red Hoeing from Comedy Central's The Ren and Stimpy Show will hunt you down until the ends of Earth. Keep that in mind. Be sure to subscribe to our channels and click the notification bell. You'll never go to miss a video the second it goes live on YouTube and Google. With that being said, thanks for watching and I'll see you all next time. Have a nice day!